All right, let's talk about progress and to-do list on my Time Attack project Ford Focus. So let's quickly run down the work done since the initial Haltech install at the shop. Item 1, wiring. All the wiring. Essentially, all the wire that was put in the shop, I took out and used that as a template to base my own motorsport style segmented looms off of. In here, it's kind of dark, but you can see my firewall plug there. That is a 48-way DT Deutsch connector bulkhead plug. That is a 12-way DTM plug. That is a 12-way DTP connector. Again, Deutsch connector. And the whole point of this is instead of having a monolithic tube of wire going into the firewall and have everything connected to everything, this both partitions the firewall off so that everything on this side is its own entity and everything on that side is its own entity. As well as this plug situation segments up the main loom into its own sublooms, which makes them easier to replace, makes them easier to work on, and makes them easier to both source and find in the engine bay because they all route a specific way. While we're in the engine bay, of course, last episode we went over the Cerakote, which is on our heat shield, our header, and our Nissan Pulsar plenum that matches up to our Kawasaki Ninja ITBs, but that's for another video. Actually, that was already in another video. Check, I don't know, maybe up in a corner somewhere, if I remember. But obviously, we have a 1-liter Raceworks catch can here with dash 12 lines going in to alleviate our crankcase and valve cover pressures. And then over here, we have a really long line for our oil cooler. I have consulted with a few race car makers, and they say this is fine. It won't hurt anything. It's not like it's, 18 feet. This is about 9 feet of AM line, so it's not the worst. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. But these are going to an improved racing oil cooler housing back there that replaces the stock oil to coolant heat exchanger. So those two lines that would go back there for coolant are capped and capped. So no coolant lines are going that way at all anymore. And then of course it comes up. These are all dash 10 around. It's going to be mounted, hard mounted to the cross member there, right there on the firewall, not firewall, but frame rail. And it comes down to the oil cooler right in front of the rad. This rad being a dual pass, much thicker rad than stock. So, upgrades all around. I think that pretty much covers it for the engine bay. We do have an idle air controller module here, but that's kind of minor stuff. Into the actual cabin, we have some Mara Sport seat brackets, as well as some seat uprights of my own design for my Corbeau racing seats. Over here, we can see the other half of that main bulkhead panel. This is not just like a plate and a plate. There's like gaskets and stuff in between. It's a convoluted type of design, but it works. We've got some patch panels for the firewall. This one's not done yet, but there's the whole ECU, PDM, monolithic plate I've had designed for that. That mounts right up there. Behind that is a bus bar for the main power. But you can see it's all routed over. The only thing I need to do here is kind of shroud all those loose wires from the PDM, and then of course route stuff back for the turn signals, brake lights, etc. But aside from that, wiring's pretty much done. I do just need to figure out kind of how I'm going to have all this stuff go back there. But moving on from that, we have a nice little box there. That is a Haltech wireless steering wheel receiver, which there's our Haltech wireless steering wheel buttons that don't have a wire, so we can control our headlights and turn signals and stuff without having a wire wrap around anywhere. That's the receiver for the transmitter from that. It all talks to each other. That's going to be integrated into the Haltech itself. Pretty simple thing, actually. It's literally just internal relays that go on and off to connect wires going in and out. So it's super simple, super simple. I'm starting to yap about it, but let's move on. Moving into the back across the cage, which is also new since then. This is a, what was it, AutoWorks 6-point. I don't like how the front 2 points land though, because they're kind of in the way. And this is also an intermediate cage for this build. Oop, wrong zoom. There we go. I don't plan on having this cage long term. This is just a stopgap to make sure I'm safe on the track for now. So I'm thinking these guys are going to come out because my head's a little close to that one. I already don't like how it goes, even with my seat reclined pretty severely for my tall frame. But I think I'm just going to resort this back to a 4-point. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But this needs to come out and get sandblasted and painted. But aside from that, we got our battery, which I am going to do a lithium-ion battery swap in the future. So don't worry about this acid battery not having a vent. I'm working on it, so just trust. We have a main serial bus for power, which there's also another one of those behind that one. And then we have auxiliary power for, anything I want power to. Underglow, in-cabin lights, cool shirt system, radio, anything I really want to have power. So that's all that. That's what that's all for. And then the elephant in the room, the giant hole in my fucking roof. I am developing a 3D printed plug for the sunroof that's going to pretty much exactly plug this. Instead of having just a riveted on sheet that just spans this, I have scanned this with my 3D scanner. I have scanned the glass, and I have created a perfect plug that will bolt up right there. Once I get the parts for that, I'll assemble it and do any tweaks I need to from the 3D print. And then I'll take that whole piece and ship it back to my guy, and he'll make a carbon fiber skin from it that I'll then be able to bolt in. And will be quite nice. And we have a whole deal set up to where he'll be able to then sell that carbon fiber plug to anyone who wants one. So, look forward to that. And to be honest, that pretty much wraps it up. I am doing some bodywork stuff to my dash for reasons. I'm sick of looking at the fake leather finish on it, so I'm trying to do some filler and smoothing work and trying to do a nice smooth matte black finish on it. If it doesn't come out, or if it produces glare somehow, I'll flock it and be done with it. But just learning some bodywork stuff, no biggie. I do have some other minor upgrades to the shop here. I say shop, this is a 2-car garage, but I've expanded some storage to hang some stuff in the storage racks up here. Still got the wide body up there, by the way. And I got a welder, so I could, in theory, just weld in my own cage later. I do have welding experience. I've welded plenty of stuff, so I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. As well as do a carbon skin for the roof while I'm at it. But that's for later. Let's not worry about that right now. Going through all this, I'm reminded of kind of a weird phenomenon I've encountered recently. And that's it. People are starting to refer to me as kind of an authority on this chassis, which in some respects, yes, I've been all up in this. So yeah, ask away. But if it has anything to do with OEM wiring, OEM tunes, OEM setups, I'm not your guy. I'm not that guy. Whereas if you want specifics on my setup, ask away. If you want specifics on chassis management, suspension setups, aero characteristics, stuff like that, I'm your guy. But anything OEM related, no. Nothing about this is OEM anymore. Nothing. So don't come crying to me because you need a tune for an OEM build or whatever else. I'm not that person anymore. And another type of comment or DM I've been getting is, how long until this thing is done? How long until you go to the track again? How long until you do more track content? We want the track content. Let's see racing stuff. I get it. I want to as well. And to be honest, the short list for that is quite, short. I need to do the sunroof, so that's priority because, safety, as well as I like to have a roof over my head sometimes. Aside from that, I need to do a little bit of faffing, the wiring, figure out the back tail light wiring and whatnot, and the routing therein. I need to do the oil cooler. I would like to do a airbox setup for our GTIR plenum, that mates to our Kawasaki Ninja ITVs. I would like to do a custom airbox setup for that in the future. However, for now, I mean, a 90 with a dry filter is going to be just fine. So, you know, it's fine. It's not going to be the best in terms of intake air temperatures yet, but I have a whole plan up here for an airbox that's going to sit more or less here and breathe from down below. So that's in the works up here so far, but not necessary to get this thing on the road. So short list is oil cooler, sunroof, wiring. Oh yeah, and cage. I need to finish the cage. I need to sandblast it, paint it, and final install. And we're pretty much done. That's it. However, the trick is finding time and motivation for all that. So that's the hard part, as we all know. I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Bit of a short one, but I want to kind of give a, we are at this point type of update. This is where we're at right now. And I'm going to be trying to do more kind of in media res, in the process, in the moment type of videos going forward. Because before, like with all the wiring and stuff, I felt like every little job with the wiring was so little and finicky and fiddly that it didn't warrant a video. None of them warranted a video separately. Altogether, they might have, but also the process would have taken probably 4 times as long to wire it all if I wanted to film it all in a coherent manner, which I don't have a greatest track record of doing in the first place. But yeah, we're gonna do more in progress kind of, filming as I'm doing stuff type of videos going forward, especially with this whole oil cooler type of setup. I might do a whole AN line video, might not, I don't know, we'll find out. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what y'all want to see. Let me know any questions in the comments, concerns. Let me know if your car is faster than mine, even though mine doesn't run currently. And I'll see you in the next one. I gotta figure out some B-roll for that outro, which we'll cut to that now.